Officer Esposito took a steadying breath. Your Honor, I was performing routine radar monitoring when the defendant passed at 58 in a 25 zone. I engaged my lights and approached the vehicle. She immediately began shouting at me, stating, "Do you know who my husband is?" Then she attempted to drive away while my arm was inside her window. She endangered me and the public. Judge Caprio's eyes narrowed. Mrs. Peton, you attempted to flee from a peace officer. You escalated the situation and physically endangered an officer on duty. This is not a minor traffic violation. This is a felony. Catherine shifted slightly, adjusting the Birkin on the table as if repositioning a prop for effect. Your Honor, she began, voice smooth as silk, I never intended. You never intended? Caprio interrupted, voice calm but cutting. You were speeding more than double the limit. You threatened a law enforcement officer with your husband's influence. You tried to drive away while she had her arm in your window. Intent is clear, Mrs. Peton. You chose to endanger a human life because your ego was bruised. The gallery murmured, a mix of shock and fascination. Caprio leaned forward, his voice rising. I've seen people with wealth, influence, power. I've seen them try to use it to escape accountability. I've also seen them pretend to regret their actions when caught. You, Mrs. Peton, have not apologized. Not once. You have bragged, belittled, and flaunted your privilege. That is the mindset that leads to the very behavior you demonstrated today. Speeding, threatening an officer, attempting to flee, this is how the powerful think rules do not apply to them. That stops here. Catherine's perfectly coiffed smile faltered for a fraction of a second. Your Honor, I meant no harm, meaning no harm? Caprio's voice grew sharper. Do you understand what you did? You could have seriously injured Officer Esposito. She is a mother of two, serving her community faithfully. You endangered her life because you believed your wealth made you untouchable. The court will not accept that excuse. He paused, letting the weight of the words settle over everyone in the gallery. This is a simple principle. Nobody, not billionaires, not their spouses, not people who think a diamond necklace can shield them from accountability, is above the law. You may be rich. You may be connected. But wealth cannot protect you from justice. Officer Esposito straightened, hand on her hip, eyes steady. Caprio nodded once at her. Thank you, officer. Your service, your composure, and your bravery today remind us why the law exists, to protect everyone, not just the privileged. Turning back to Catherine Peton, he continued, Mrs. Peton, I am sentencing you for reckless driving, resisting arrest, and felony assault on a peace officer. Given the severity and your deliberate disregard for human life, you will serve 18 months in state prison. You will pay full fines, attend mandatory anger management and traffic safety courses, and perform 200 hours of community service. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Catherine's mouth opened, but no words came. Her attorneys started whispering frantically. Caprio's gaze hardened. I have seen the consequences of privilege used as a shield. I have seen lives destroyed because someone thought money excused behavior. Not here. Not today. Catherine Peton was led away in handcuffs, heels clicking sharply against the courtroom floor. Outside, the crowd of onlookers murmured their approval, some clapping quietly. Officer Esposito exhaled deeply, a mixture of relief and pride on her face. Judge Caprio looked over the empty courtroom, his voice carrying softly but clearly to the back row. This is the lesson the powerful must learn: privilege does not equal immunity. Justice sees all, and it does not bend for wealth or arrogance. The courtroom emptied slowly, the lesson etched into the minds of all present. In Frank Caprio's court, justice isn't bought, it's delivered, one honest officer at a time. Catherine's voice was barely audible. I didn't think it was a big deal. Judge Caprio's eyes didn't soften. Not a big deal? You parked in a handicapped spot for hours. You threatened and attempted to flee from an officer doing her job. You've treated this city like your personal playground, and now, for the first time, you're realizing that actions have consequences. He leaned forward, voice measured but cutting. Let's put this in perspective. Officer Maria Esposito, 12 years on the force, mother of two, keeps this city safe. She earns $68,400 a year, before overtime. And you, Mrs. Peton, wore around your neck a necklace worth $1.8 million. A necklace. One piece of jewelry that is worth more than she will earn in 26 years of service. And you called her a peasant. The courtroom murmured in agreement, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Caprio continued, his voice rising slightly. This is not about money. This is about respect, accountability, and basic human decency. Privilege does not excuse you from the law. Wealth does not give you the right to intimidate, threaten, or endanger others. Catherine shifted, her posture faltering for the first time. The Birkin slipped slightly, and the gallery noticed the subtle signs of a woman realizing she was finally out of her control bubble. Caprio pulled another file from the stack. And let's review your history. 27 moving violations in Rhode Island. Not a single one fully enforced without influence, donations, or connections. Every single ticket reduced or dismissed because of who you are married to. For years, the system bent for you, and yet, you chose to escalate today. You did not learn. You believed today would be no different. He paused, letting silence fill the room. Every eye in the gallery was locked on Catherine. Even her attorneys looked tense, unable to interject. Today, Caprio said, voice soft but razor-sharp, that ends. This court does not look the other way because someone is rich, connected, or thinks the rules don't apply to them. You endangered an officer's life. You threatened her. You flaunted your privilege. You attempted to flee. That is serious. And for the first time, you will face consequences. Catherine swallowed hard, the perfect composure she had worn like armor all morning finally cracking. Caprio's gaze swept the courtroom. Mrs. Peton, you will pay the fines, complete mandatory community service, attend traffic safety courses, and be formally admonished for assault on a peace officer. Let this serve as a lesson: nobody is above the law. Not because you're rich. Not because you're married to a billionaire. Because the law protects everyone equally, and today, it protects Officer Esposito. The gallery erupted in quiet applause and murmurs of approval. Catherine Peton sat frozen, staring down at her Birkin, the weight of her actions finally sinking in. Opening scene, exterior, Federal Hill, Providence, morning, Wednesday morning, October 22, 2025, 9:47 a.m. Officer Maria Esposito, 12 years on the force, mother of two, is working radar on Atwells Avenue. A white 2025 Bentley Bentayga, temporary Massachusetts plate CP1, roars past at 58 in a 25 zone. She hits the lights and pulls it over outside De Pasquale Plaza. The window lowers. Inside, Catherine Peton, 48, wife of billionaire Alexander Petman. Chanel jacket, ivory tweed skirt, $1.8 million in diamonds around her neck. On the passenger seat, Hermes and Cartier accessories sparkle in the morning sun. She speaks before Maria can. Do you know who my husband is? Maria stays calm. License and registration, please. One call, Catherine says, phone already to her ear, and you'll be writing parking tickets in Johnston for the rest of your life. She tosses the phone onto the seat. Maria sighs. Catherine hits the gas. Officer Esposito's arm is inside the window. She jumps back just in time. Scene, Providence Municipal Court. 2 hours later, courtroom 1 is packed. Word travels fast when a billionaire's wife is arrested for assaulting an officer. Catherine enters, heels clicking, attitude radiating. Her Birkin is placed delicately on the defendant's table like a shield. Judge Frank Caprio enters, black robe flowing, his eyes calm but piercing. Good morning, Mrs. Peton. Let's review the charges: reckless driving, resisting arrest, assault on a peace officer. Catherine smiles. Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding. Officer was rude. We donate generously to the Police Benevolent Association. I'm sure we can resolve this quietly. Caprio raises an eyebrow. Generously? Let's talk facts. You were doing 33 miles over the limit. You endangered children walking to school. You threatened an officer doing her job. And your defense is context? The gallery murmurs. Caprio presses play on the body cam, Catherine's voice crystal clear, arrogant. Do you know who my husband is? One call and you're finished. You're nothing but a peasant with a badge. The room reacts. Laughter, gasps, disbelief. Catherine's cheeks flush under her makeup. Scene, Judge Caprio confronts privilege. Caprio pulls out the file. Mrs. Petman, this isn't your first rodeo. 27 moving violations, everyone either dismissed or reduced after phone calls, emails, or donations. You've treated the law like a buffet. He glances at Officer Esposito. How much do you earn protecting this city? $68,400 before overtime, Your Honor. And your necklace? $1.8 million. Caprio nods slowly. One piece of jewelry worth more than you will earn in 26 years of service. And you called her a peasant. Catherine falters. Caprio dials Alexander Peton live in court. His voice comes over the speaker. Whatever the penalty is, double it. She's been pulling this for years. I'm tired of cleaning up her messes. The gallery erupts. Catherine's Birkin hits the floor with a $20,000 thud. Scene, Judge Caprio delivers sentence. Caprio removes his glasses, wipes them, and looks at Catherine with the calm of a grandfather. Mrs. Peton, the maximum fine for these charges is $8,200. I will impose $7,000. But money is meaningless to you. The real lesson comes next. Catherine freezes. You will complete 160 hours of community service, 1 hour for every child walking to school on Atwells Avenue. You will report to the Charles Street Community Center. You will coach, serve snacks, read to children, clean up after them. No Chanel, no diamonds, no Birkin. And Officer Maria Esposito will be your direct supervisor. Catherine's knees buckle. She clutches the podium, overwhelmed. Scene, 10 weeks later, Charles Street Community Center, Saturday, January 18, 2026. Jim smells of pizza and floor wax. Kids scream during dodgeball. Catherine, no makeup, hair in a ponytail, wears a slightly too big blue PAL volunteer shirt with her name stitched in yellow. She kneels on the hardwood tying a 7-year-old boy's shoelaces. Double knot, coach, he says. She laughs, tying it tight. Officer Esposito watches from the bleachers, arms crossed, a small smile on her face. During water break, Catherine approaches Maria. Officer Esposito, I owe you more than an apology. I was horrible. I'm so sorry. Maria nods once. You showed up every weekend, on time, even in freezing weather. The kids love you. That's what matters. Catherine's eyes fill with different tears. I never knew what it felt like to be needed for who I am, not for what I own. Closing narration, Catherine Petlin still owns the Bentley, the Birkin, the diamonds, but on weekends, she's in a blue t-shirt, coaching third graders, serving juice boxes, cleaning up floors. She keeps her $7,000 receipt framed in her closet, next to the PAL volunteer shirt signed by the kids. Money can buy comfort, Mrs. Petman, but it can never buy class. I had to earn mine, one Saturday at a time, she tells anyone who asks. Judge Caprio and Officer Esposito taught Providence a powerful lesson. Respect cannot be bought, accountability is universal, and even the most entitled can change when justice is tempered with compassion.